Hi everyone, we are now about to start our new mini series project. I'm really excited. I know we've done a few really little things, just catching up on different bits and bobs, but I've eaten the Inky Butterfly today and I have picked this page because it's got lots of smaller items and I thought we could do one a day. There are 16, so it'll keep us going for a couple of weeks. I thought it would be fun. Now I know not everyone's going to have this book, but a lot of these items are in other books that Johanna's done. There's magic bottles and pots and feathers and lanterns and different bits and bobs and mushrooms and things. So I thought it might be good, the techniques be good even if you don't actually have this book. So that's what my plan is for the sort of next set of afternoons really. So I'm going to make a start with this one up here. I'm just going to grab a book to put underneath because it's quite near the end of the book, so there's nothing under the page, so I've put a little book under there to cushion, and we shall zoom in and get started. It's a little bit tricky to get right in on this one because my tripod is in the way, unless I sort of angle it oddly. Bit of a shame. Things near the top of the page aren't always that easy to sort of film really close up. I think that might have to do. Anyways, I'm going to use my Polychromos. I was trying to decide which to use and I just thought I would use the polys because obviously I know them quite well. They're the sort of second set I ever had, but just not my tripod. So what I've decided to do is we've got a magic inside the bottle, so I'm going to do the magic in this bit and then up into the lid because I'm thinking it's see-through, but not up into that little top bit because I think that might be solid and not into the base. So there'll be some different colours for the glass, for the sort of lid and the very top of the lid and the base. I'm just sharpening away. This is the Phthalo green light. It is a little short, I'm afraid, and we're very far away so you can't see. It is number 162. Anyway, I think it's called light phthalo green actually. And what I'm going to do first is all the areas I want the magic. I'm not going to do these swirls and things or the dots. I'm just going to do the main area. Now, if you go over the swirls and dots, it doesn't matter too much. We can go over those in pen actually. Maybe. I haven't really thought about what I'm doing with those, to be honest, but they're quite small and fiddly, so don't worry too much, and actually don't worry about it at all, it's fun. So I'm just putting a layer down first and you'll get to see what I'm doing. I'm going to add in some other colours. I've actually just recently learned how to do this particular colour combo with this particular green, which I think is quite fun. I've seen lots of people do it, and I just thought I'd have a go. And I was using my Derwent Lightfast actually for a particular picture. There isn't, in the 72 set, you don't get a big range of masses of colours. You get lots of sort of browns and green, dark greens and things, which is great for botanicals and things like that. And remember I said I was going to do this bit too. I'm reminding myself because I forget that quickly. Wow. But anyway, I sort of did it with that set and I've had a try with these since. So that's to start. We'll go back to that green later. What we want now is a colour, a blue actually, to darken up some of the areas. It might seem a little odd, but bear with me. I'm just picking what I think might be the best one. I think this Helio Turquoise might be good. It's number, I can't see, 155. My light's really glary, isn't it? So I'm sorry about that. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the edges with this and start to add some sort of shadow around the edge of the bottle. What I want to try to do is to make it look like it's glowing a little bit. So around the edge. So I feel like I've missed all of you. I don't see you or get feedback from very many of you. Some of you I do, which is lovely. But having not made videos for a couple of weeks, I feel like I haven't been in touch with anybody. It's quite strange, but it's really nice to be making again. And actually it's going to be quite short-lived because I think one of my sons is coming home from college this afternoon, so I won't be able to make too much, and then one of them's off tomorrow all day, so I I shan't have much time, but anyway, it's nice to get back into the swing of things again. So you can see I'm just layering around the edge. Now I'm not going to go across here because this is all one sort of piece. This is an extra thick bit of glass, I'm thinking, that we won't be able to see through, but the light is coming from the sort of center here. So let's put a paler bit towards the middle. So I'm basically just putting more of this blue, but not as much as on that edge. I want a sort of defined edge, and then less as we go towards the centre of the pot. Jar, I think it is, isn't it? In a pot. I love the idea of having a little jar full of magic on a shelf. Imagine. Just to use when you want it. What sort of spells? I don't know. I'm not sure what sort of spell. There are a few I've got in mind, but I'll let you have a think about what you want. So I had a nice morning already. I've walked out. I had to pop to the shops, a few bits and bobs, and I saw the first daffodils I've seen. I have seen daffodils in the shops, but growing along by the river, which was really nice. Okay, I'm going back to this one now. The light phthalo green, and I'm going to do a little bit more in the centre. And what I'm going to do is start in the middle with a harder layer, to see, and then lighter towards the edges. I want to make the impression it's sort of glowing from the middle. So yes, it's lovely to start seeing, and there were some primroses next to them as well. We've got some crocuses in a pot in our garden, which are pretty, and some bluebells they're only leaves at the moment. Haven't got any flowers quite yet, but still it all feels so spring-like, and I know that fills a lot of people with joy. I do actually like the winter myself. I'm a bit of an oddity. Well, you all know I'm a bit of an oddity. But I know it makes people smile, and that's really important, to know that spring's on the way. I think people like to see a bit of sunshine. Okay, so I'm going back to my blue now. This is the same one. This is the Helio Turquoise on the blue. I'm just going to give it a sharpen. I want it to be really sharp so I can get a really defined edge on the outside of here. Trying to get right up to the black line, or even on top. It's quite good if you want to eliminate the black lines. Now, I know people use white pen and all sorts of tricks, and I don't get on well with that. And I find if you colour over it with your pencil and do quite an intense colour, it actually disappears back a little bit. So that would be a little tip to try. So going over it here and here. Obviously, it's then very easy to go out of the line, but you know I do that all the time anyway. But you can just take your time, have it nice and close if you can't see very well. I'm struggling to see, I have to say, but my eyes are dodgy. My glasses are actually filthy. I was in the bookshop this morning, and the lady in there was cleaning hers because she was she had her mask on and it was all steaming up. And she was saying how she just had a week off, so she wasn't used to making sure she got the balance right with her breath and her mask and stuff. It's quite funny. And anyway, I was saying I could do with borrowing that and cleaning mine, but I was joking. They do need to clean, but I didn't want to borrow hers in the shop. So we're gently building up this layer to mix the blue with this sort of green colour, and hopefully it looks like there's this sort of magical glow coming from the middle of the bottle. Now, because we're using polys, we have to build up these layers a bit. We could press down really hard, but it doesn't give the nicest of effects. It's nicer to sort of slowly build up the layers, and then they merge all together and look pretty. A little bit in here, and I'm going to go back in light phthalo green again, and just sort of go over those overlapping edges really, just to bring it together. And making sure I put a layer in the center too, because we want to make it look like the glow is coming from the center. So if it's darker on the edge, it's not quite going to work. So we're going to have to darken the whole of it. Now I'm thinking now about these sort of swirls and stars and things, and wondering what to do with those. You might have some ideas. But how can I have a think? Now you could use a glitter pen or a metallic pen to give a really nice sort of shine. It's something I'm thinking about, considering. I've just actually gone through a phase of using up quite a lot of my old glitter pens because they just had a little bit left, and it can be quite tricky if you're using it and it runs out on a really special picture. So I grabbed some fun little mini mandalas and used them up, which was great, creating some little glittery pictures. Now, how are we doing? Yeah, I'm happy with that. It gives a nice sort of glowing look. Now, I have managed to go over the edge of the stars and swirls. Now, white is an option. If you've got a white pen, you could just do them white. I'm saying a white pen. Obviously, you can leave them white, but I've gone over the edge, so they don't look very white. There's another, I'm thinking maybe, but I'm going to do this bit white up here. Do you see it's a little shine? I'm just finding my white. I've got a white Posca here. This is a PC1MR. It's just a white with the a sort of bullet tip. It's very splodgy. It's quite an old one. I have got a new one actually, and I'm just going to go over that like that because I have gone over the line. You could just leave it white. Now I think I'm going to do the glass while I think about the rest. Now glass, it could be grey or sort of white, clear I mean, and so you could just add a little bit of grey, but I think because we've got this colouring in the potion, then maybe it would be reflecting a little bit of that. That's my sort of thought. So I'm thinking if I go for this Cobalt Green, it's a sort of turquoisey colour, it might work. We'll give it a go, but I don't want a lot of colour going down. So the good thing with the polys is that press lightly, you don't get much colour. So I'm going to put, what I want is more here on the edge and less as I go towards the middle, because I want to make it look like it's shiny. And if you leave a little bit of white or a paler area, it looks a bit shiny. Also looks a little bit more rounded, which is nice. Where should we go? Now this one, that we've got this curl pattern. Now what I'm thinking is that under this might be, this bit, this sort of top bit might be sticking out, and this might be underneath. So we need a sort of shadow line. What I'm going to do is actually go over the whole thing with this first, in this very much the same way as I did the bottom. And then I'm going to put a little bit of shadow in under that curly line. Curly? I don't know. So there's that bit. It's just the same as I did the bottom. And I shall do the top bit here the same again. And then we have this sort of handly bit. We have a line on here. I think again I'm going to ignore it and deal with it in a minute. So we'd put a little darker bit here and less towards the centre, coming from both sides like that. Okay, and I'm thinking I will use the turquoise that I used for the bottle. This is the Helio Turquoise for the shadow. Now I'm not zoomed in very well, so I don't know how well you can see, but my idea is to put a little line of it under here, almost on top of the black line that's there, and a lighter one there, like that. Now here, underneath here, all the way along, just to make it look like it's overhanging. Hopefully that makes sense and sort of looks right. like that. Now I'm also going to put a line under here too, just adds a little bit of depth like that, and I'm going to put one on the top. Two, and under here, and at the bottom of there, and under here. I think it just adds the tiniest bit of depth to the whole thing. Whoops, that's a bit thick, isn't it? Just extend that a bit. There we go. So the base is a bit more in shadow. I guess that makes sense. Okay, so now we have to deal with our swirls. Now, I'm still wondering whether yellow is going to work or whether it's just going to be too brash and bright for the potion. I'm wondering whether to do, I was thinking a mixture of pink and purple, but I'm not sure, or whether I just do silver and gold. Let's try silver and gold, and if you watch first and see if you approve, and then you can decide. I think only silver. I'm not sure gold's going to match. So I've got a silver Posca which I'm using. It's a PC1MR white one, and not white one, silver one. And we shall go over this. It's not working. I need to scrap of paper, and I don't have one. Ooh. Hang on. I'm just sort of stabbing the end up and down. You pump the end up and down to get the paint out. I'm still not convinced it's working. There we go. So follow around this sort of half moon type swirly shape with the silver on this one. I think that's okay. Actually, shows up quite well. I wasn't sure if it would actually show up. Now I'm thinking the dots I might do in white. I've still got the white. I'm going to do the white in a minute actually. I'm going to do the stars in the gold. Just give it a shake. This is a new one, so it should work really well. Yeah, look at that. There we go. And the dots in white, we're going to add a few other dots, bits of white as well. And then we'll be done. So. Now you might want to go right over all the black lines when you're going over these dots and swirls and things, or you might not mind. To be honest, for me, I didn't mind, so it's just gone how it's gone. Now with this white, we could add a little bit of shine to the jar, and I'm thinking we've got a bit there, down here, and up here like that. Put a tad down there as well. There we are. And that is our jar done. So thank you for joining me. I've had such fun, and I will just tip it so you can see the shine in the light. I've had great fun doing that, so thank you again, and thank you for watching, and happy colouring.